Welcome to the 3DU book study. We're going to do it a little bit differently this time, and I'm going to have you watch this video as you are in Google Classroom with the YouTube interactive feature that is new, and answer a few questions to show that you've watched the video and that you're following along. And then afterwards, there's going to be a couple times where I show you how you're going to go in and show your reflections, share your ideas, and be able to show me that you worked on the other material independently after doing the video. So let's get started. So again, this is what we try to accomplish. I think the last two are really important for this time because we're going to talk about failing forward and succeeding beyond, but also that reflection where you come up with ideas. That's important because now within the book, they're talking about curriculum. They're talking about how to apply it to empathy projects and different things like that. So I really want you to delve deep into thinking about how you can use it where you are right now in WCPS and what you do with students. So what happens if there's a mistake? Hopefully we know from looking in the book and learning about the fail box that we are going to have failure, but to teach students, that's part of the growth mindset and learning. I also put hashtag call Ben, and I did put Ben's email address here, even though we're not going to jump right away and email Ben. I wanted to show you some things that have been created. So if you go to WCPSMD.com and you go to the employee portal and you move down, you'll go to instructional technology. Under computer science, we have CS Tools modules, and if you move the whole way down, and you'll see there's the Tinkercad PD module, there's a MakerBot support module, that's for both the Sketch and the MakerBot Replicator Plus, but also there's this troubleshooting one. So I'm going to have you go to this one as soon as we are done here, so you can go to another tab in a minute. And I'm going to have you look at some of these different troubleshooting parts. I'm going to send you specifically to Spaghetti Prints, and I'm going to ask you a question on that, and then I want you to answer it. But you're more than welcome to look at all of the different problems and solutions. And always remember, it's best to reference this before doing anything that may make the situation worse with the printer. The next thing that we're going to go over are the two different guest speakers that we are going to have. This is going to be a little bit different because usually we have them come on, we ask them questions, but I'm going to show you both of these. Gary's actually in our class, so in our last class, if you want to ask Gary anything, you may, and let me know if you have anything to ask Richard as well. So we'll play the video for Gary, and you'll have a question involving that. And then we'll play the video for Richard, and you'll have a question for that as well. So we'll go ahead and get started with that.
At Boonesboro High School, Brady Weaver is a household name.
Brady's a well-known celebrity at Boonesboro High School. Everybody knows who Brady is, and Brady knows pretty much who everybody is.
In a crowd of his peers, Brady is one of a kind. He was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy in kindergarten, and for more than a decade now, he has overcome challenges his classmates can only imagine. One teacher, his adaptive physical education teacher, has seen Brady face and overcome countless obstacles.
His overall goal was accessing physical education. So that's what we worked on all the way through elementary school, middle school, and high school. Just spending that time together, we've really gotten to know each other well.
This year, she's also Brady's coach for Boonesboro's Unified Bocce team. When he started playing his freshman year, he used his own strategy to get the ball down the court.
He'd put it on his, just above his knee and drop it, and he was able to set an angle using both his chair and a flexion in his foot. Just over time, that ability has decreased.
My junior year, I started having trouble rolling the ball off my foot. Ms. Meredith, my adaptive PE teacher, asked me if I would like to use the ramp, and I told her no, I was not ready. I said no because I wanted to do it on my own.
But Brady eventually had a change of heart, and his coach had a plan. Knowing a ramp would need to be custom made, she called on the engineering program at Washington County Technical High School.
And what we said was, we can't change the height, and we want it to be a part of him. And by making it a part of him, they made it a part of his chair.
So the students divided and conquered, working in small groups to construct each piece of the ramp.
Up here at the top, there's two main pieces that hold it to his chair. This piece here, there's a little bracket that there's a piece that holds his leg in. That piece comes out, and this sits right in that bracket and holds it securely to the chair.
They engineered each part and used 3D printers in their classroom to create prototypes and the final product.
And he used the soluble supports whenever he printed it to make the bearings underneath. That way they would roll and be able to move and not just be like frozen to just slide on the floor.
With Brady back on his competitive game, he wanted to show the aspiring engineers just how much their work was paying off.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Tech High engineering students and Mr. Thomas, thank you for building my bocce ramp for me. I like the way my ball rolls farther using the ramp. I also like the way the ramp attaches to my chairs, so I can drive around with it.
And in the midst of all the engineering and design, there are even some personal touches the Tech High students included.
Blue is my favorite color, and orange is our school color. Thank you for putting my name on the ramp. It makes me feel famous.
It's been amazing getting to see the excitement in Brady, getting to see the excitement of the students working with him, helping him achieve something that he is not able to do on his own, and just knowing that he's so thankful and appreciative of it, that it's making it all better for the students to see that too.
It's a satisfying feeling seeing something you design with others come together as one whole piece and work amazingly.
It just shows that like engineering can go farther than just like mechanical problems or something. It can go into like other people's like personal life and help them with their challenges that they would face in a daily process or anything.
We all go into public education to make the biggest impact we can on kids and to actually celebrate those few moments where you can say, I actually was part of something that was life-changing. And this to me is the definition of life-changing. It's exactly what public education should represent.
Thank you for making my bocce season better this year. I hope one day when you are all engineers, you can help me play basketball. Thank you for being so nice to me. Your new friend, Brady Weaver.
Okay, what I have is not like a prepared like presentation type thing. It's just kind of a anecdotal. This is something I happen to come up with, and I have props to play with too, so I guess that makes it fun too.
Yay!
We're all. I am looking around. I recognize some faces. Who is secondary? Or most of you guys second, because you're secondary. You're second. Okay, so you know we've got Chromebooks, we've got Chromebook cases, and the kids who. What I've discovered is over time, the clips. This is a clip that holds the Chromebook screen. Okay, the clips deteriorate over time and they snap. Like that one's broken. It's not going to hold the screen anymore.
And if you guys want to see Richard a little bit bigger, you can just hover over him and pin him there on the left.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to have them pin you if they want to see it larger, but okay. I could see it. So go ahead.
Okay. And here's another example of one of the clips that comes out of the Chromebook case. And it's cracked here, and it's not going to hold the top of the screen anymore. And I had a couple cases come back like this, and I'm running out of cases to give kids. And I started looking at the piece, and I said, that's very simple. It's just 3 flat planes, the back, the back, the bottom, and the little front plane here. And I said, I wonder if that could be drawn in Tinkercad. And I started messing around with Tinkercad, and what I ended up with is this. And it actually works. And I do have a couple of kids with Chromebooks now running around with them in there. And it fits in just like this. This is one that I 3D printed. And it works, it seems to work as well as the original ones. I can give you an example. I can go to, let me share my screen. And I hate doing this because then I can't see you while I'm talking and I feel like I'm talking to nothing, but I'm going to try it anyway. I haven't done virtual in a while, so here we go.
Yeah, that's all right. And in the 3DU book study, in the presentation that I just shared with you guys, I do have, with Richard's name, I have the STL file that you can always download. When you look at it, you won't be able to see it until you download it onto your desktop. And then you'd be able to see the file. Okay.
What the file looks like is this here. This is my Tinkercad account. And
you're not presenting yet. Oh, there you are. You're presenting now. There we go. It's coming on.
Okay. It's just it's very laggy.
Yeah, it says you joined, and it says you're presenting. You might have to switch screens to where you have the.
I have it. I see it.
You can see it? Okay. Oh, I have him pinned. So sorry. Okay, go ahead, Richard.
It's very slow. It's coming up. Okay, so here's what it looked like when I got in and started playing. Oh my gosh, it's so laggy.
How did you do the dimensions?
That's what the part looks like. What'd you say?
How did you do the dimensions? Like, did you?
And that's what I wanted to tell you guys. For a bunch of fourth graders to try this, it doesn't have to be very precise. I mean, I used, ruler, millimeters. That's all I did. And it was actually an evolution. Let me change, and I'll show you a different tab. Can I share this tab instead? Actually, did the Google Slides. I feel a little silly, but okay. Can you guys see the Google slide?
Yes.
Slideshow? Okay. The first one I did, that was a millimeter thick here, a millimeter thick here, and it might have been, I think it was just a millimeter thick all the way through. Because when I measured the original, it was just short of a millimeter, or about a millimeter thick. I said, yeah, that'll work. And I tried it, and it snapped. So I said, okay, we have to thicken the bottom up because that's where it snapped. Then it snapped somewhere else. I said, okay, we're going to need both sides to be thicker here. And then these things didn't hold. The top where you'd slide the strap into wasn't holding well. They were twisting as there was any tension put on it. So I had to make the whole thing thicker. And this is the version I ended up with. The whole thing is thicker, and there's I rounded these corners. I don't know if you can see the mouse pointer too, but
yes.
Okay, I rounded these corners so the strap would go in easier, and the whole thing is 2 millimeters thick, which is thicker than the piece that came out of it, thicker than the original. But this is what's working, and the kids are walking around with these now. Now, is it cost effective to actually use these on any kind of large scale basis? No, of course not. But it's a kind of a neat way, I think, to show kids, hey, look, you can use this to actually make something valuable, make something useful. Sadly, I have not used it in a lesson yet. I thought it would be a neat thing to work into a lesson with kids, and I haven't had an opportunity to do that yet.
That would be neat. I know that the Chromebook case, they said, was like $15.34 for each one of them.
Yeah.
Whenever you print out the clip, like I had Christy Haggerty print out the clip here, and I actually, she said it only took a third of the filament. So whatever the filament costs, take a third of that price. But it would be advantageous to use something like this so that you wouldn't have to just scrap the case.
Yeah. And not even that, oh my gosh, we found this solution for broken, but more to show the kids, look, you don't have to throw stuff out all the time.
Right.
If there's something you have at home that has a part that can't be bought,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't have to buy a whole new one. You can actually make the part to fix it with.
Right. You missed Heather Toya shared that she had the guidance counselor that was missing 4 pieces from an operation game she uses with students. And so she went to Tinkercad and there were the pieces.
Brilliant.
And she printed them out and gave it to the teacher. So there's a game that could have been scrapped or, of course, missing pieces. Always, what are we going to do? We're missing the piece. We can't play the game. So that was really neat too.
And something I did not play with, and you guys, if you're during the book study, I bet you know more about this end of it than I do at this point. I did not try changing the print density at all on the machine. As far as in fact, the couple that the earlier ones that broke, I could see there were still air spaces inside. There's voids inside this. Is as thin as it is, there's room for a void inside it. So if you change the density to make it print solid, it might change it. I'm sure it'd change the strength of the object.
It would be neat to see over time too if they hold more. Do you know what I mean? Compared to, others.
I have a few of them out with kids, and I haven't. One came back broken, and I think that was one of the earlier ones that I did. One of the earlier prototypes. It sounds funny to say I made a prototype, but I guess. But the last couple I handed out, the kids have had for weeks, and they've been fine. So I haven't heard anything yet, anyway.
Good. Any other questions for Richard? Does anybody have questions or comments?
And then you said you did share the file. Okay, the file is available.
The STL file, the final prototype, is available.
Okay.
Heather, did you have
creating it in Tinkercad? It really was. You just take a block out and you flatten it. You shrink the height dimension to make the base, and then you make another block. Take another block and make it very narrow. And I guess you guys have probably played with that all now that you've been studying 3D printing a little bit. You guys, for all I know, you guys are way ahead of me.
No, we're all at varying levels. So this is always good to hear how you sort of piece that together.
Yeah.
Heather, did you have a question? I saw you put your camera on. I just wanted to make sure.
I was just, you said comments, so I just wanted to say that's awesome and, inspiring to think of ways that we can do similar things because, the whole creating a new object in Tinkercad, I think is kind of the intimidating part for me. But, when you explain it, it sounds simple enough. You just measure the shape and trial and error and good.
Yeah, and it's
good for engineering design process to talk about improving each time you printed it.
That's really all it was, trial and error. 4 different versions till I got one that didn't snap when you put tension on it for any length of time.
Yeah, and we actually in the book he suggests having like a fail shelf or fail box, and just showing the kids, and it would be great to have like a little case with a transformation between the 4. Like
I did. I kept the broken ones so I could see what. Yeah, I did do that.
Yeah, like the evolution of the case clip.
The next thing is the chapter 4 through 6 reflections. If you notice, whenever you minimize it in presentation mode and you're on slide 5, make sure that you're in the view and you're showing the speaker notes. If you see the speaker notes, then you're able to see the collaborative slide deck that I have here. And if you click on it, you'll be able to go and actually see the sections that I have for you guys. So this is for layers 4 through 6, and those are the chapters. Choose one slide, put your name on it, write a word that you think really stood out from your reflections in chapters 4 through 6. 3-sentence reflection, it could be 1 sentence per layer or chapter. Your next steps and any image that you feel sort of embodies what you're talking about in your slide. If you feel like you need another slide, feel free to make another one, but that one slide is the only thing that I'll be checking to make sure that you completed that. So if we go back, I will then go into presentation mode again. And we're going to talk about empathetic problem solving. So one of the things in 3D printing is students can get carried away with going to Thingiverse and printing out things, but they really don't see the connection of why 3D printing can really change the landscape of how we do things. So this graphic sort of shows you some of the things that students can do. And so when you are looking at an empathetic problem, you're really listening deeply to that person. You're starting to internalize their struggles, what they may be not able to do with their situation, and how you continue to question them to find out how you can help them or how you can develop something that they can also develop with you. So it enhances your perspective. It's not all about you trying to make things better. It's you listening to others and doing things for others to make it better for them. And inspiring agreement. So you really want to have that person agree with your final solution. As you saw with Brady and the Tech High students, there was all of this involved. They listened to Brady. They questioned Brady. They knew his favorite color. They knew what he wanted. They went out and they did measurements. They asked him questions. And it gave them a perspective that was way beyond just developing something from schematics and drawings that somebody else gave them. And it became more authentic and tangible. And they agreed upon that model. So I'm going to give you some examples. MakerBot shared these examples with us, and I'm going to have you just read and look at each area and sort of, tell me what you think in terms of how your students might respond if they knew about some of these projects. So sort of keep that in mind as well. This one, pay attention to the map. See where a lot of these communities are, and if you are in the actual part here, you can actually click on it and go to the Enable community chapters to see where they are. Also, you have assistive technology for a dog, so students can think of other things other than people and how they can help. You'll also notice that they have other design problems and challenges and how they developed them and came up with them. And it just shows you that, the different things you can have students do. And think about this. Do you want students to look at a problem or something within their community? Or would you like them to do one of these challenges first and then do something that is their own choice for an empathetic? So you can look at how you want to approach the first empathetic project you might do with students. And this one is an example of a lesson plan in Thingiverse where students have to survive a flood for second grade. They use this, but you could adapt it. And students came up with their examples on Tinkercad and printed them out. And then, of course, tested these to see if it would survive a flood. Within Washington County, we also have a teacher that went through MakerBot 2 training and certification. She came up with this lesson showing growth mindset using this book, and then having the students create these star necklaces in Tinkercad. So I'm going to have you have some time here to explore. You're going to see that we're on slide 16. Once you explore these 3 different resources, I'd like you to go down here to the Canva whiteboard, click on it, and when you get there, you're going to notice that you have a whiteboard that has an idea map. Down here, you can go ahead and make it bigger, so you zoom in. And the question in the middle says, what ideas do you have for possible 3D lessons to focus on empathy? On the right, you can add any sticky notes. It's telling you that's the directions. So when you go up here to elements, you should be able to click on the sticky notes by saying sticky notes. They come up here. These are special because you can actually click on it. You can put it where the actual box is up here. And when you zoom in, you're going to notice that on that sticky note, you're going to have the actual name of the person and your text. So that will tell me who wrote it, which will be very helpful to let me know that you did this part. Over here are some tips for the whiteboarding. You can use those tips as well. It tells you different things that you can create by keyboard shortcuts. So you can definitely fill that out, and it doesn't have to be a lot, just an idea. If you want to make any connections, you may do that as well. The next time we meet, we're going to have the last 3 chapters read, 7 through 9. You'll have a reflection for those, and if you want to, on the next slide, there are some reflections, templates, and if you want to switch it up, you can switch it up this time. There is a reminder that Kevin Reneman, the author, will be joining us, and I want you to have some questions and comments ready for him, and I would like you to email me at least one question, if not more. It's up to you. Our next meeting date is December 13th. It is virtual. We'll meet with the author, but I also want to showcase you guys. So bring something to share with the group, no matter how big or small. Share what you're thinking about doing next, what you learned from the course, something to show your growth as a learner. And remember, Kevin is on Twitter. You can reach out to him if you want to. He's very accessible. And then also, you can listen to some of his podcasts too to gain some more inspiration and insight into how he uses 3D printing in his lessons and his thinking in the classroom. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Be sure to go back through and do the reflection slide that was up here in slide 5. You'll have to make sure you have your show notes, speaker notes up here with under view. You'll show your speaker notes. And then for the other part down here on slide 16, make sure that you click on the Canva whiteboard and share as well. And send me that one question that you want me to ask Kevin the next time whenever we are meeting. So thank you for all you do, and have a wonderful rest of your day.